On our morning show today, we continue our Back to School series here. We're talking about Riverdale and all of the things that are going on this year as we get set for a fresh year in Chieftain Country. And joining us today is the members of the admin team at Riverdale. We have Jeff Campbell is here. We have Sarah Gruen, high school, junior high principal. We have Sarah Pleckelman, elementary principal, and Stacy Szynski, director of special education. And Jeff Campbell is here as well. Good to have you back for your monthly visit, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I appreciate the time that we get every month.
I think every time you're on, we say, I can't believe it's this time of year, but I really can't believe it's almost back to school time.
Yeah, I know it is. It's this is the time, I think, leading into next week when the staff shows up. It's kind of the time where it's nice to have that summertime where you have a little bit of maybe less interruptions and just the focus on, the planning stages of things. But it's always nice to get the kids back around and just, having them and having the staff back around all together.
I imagine that like in July, it was a little quieter. Now you get into August, you hear a few more footsteps in the hall, right? And some things.
Yeah, you sure do. I mean, our staff is just, they've been in the building probably since they could get in. I know they're always knocking on Tim Redmond, our buildings and grounds director, of, hey, when's my room going to be ready? Because they want to know and they want to get in there and they want to get a good start. So we've had a lot of staff already in there for the entire month, just preparing for the school year.
Strategic planning, you touched on that last time you were here in kind of branding or rebranding the district. Would you like to speak about that today?
Yeah. So we had 18 staff members this past spring, and I've talked about this kind of periodically through a couple different shows, but 18 staff members got together of all departments within our district, and we just talked about what do we want to see Riverdale in 5 to 10 years. What do we want, the district to move forward in, and kind of what that is. So it's kind of a rebranding approach to the entire district. So we put together a new vision and mission statement that everybody worked to agree on. And when you got 18 people in the room, it's always really difficult, to reach these conclusions in that. But it was a good constructive conversation, and I think when you bring in people from all elements of the district, that's what was exciting about it. Is it's just not the teaching staff making the decision, the administrators. We had people from food service, we had people from buildings and grounds, we had people from paraprofessionals, transportation department, and you hear different perspectives, and then they take that kind of ownership in it, and they take that back to the rest of their group, and it's an ownership all together as a district. And I think it's continuing to push our feeling of we're one group, and that everybody plays a certain role within that group. No matter what your job is, you have a role in the development of our children within our district every single day. I think I always talked about one of the biggest things that, bus drivers, their biggest role is they're the first ones to interact with those kids on a daily basis. And sometimes we forget about that. It's like, when the first kid walks into the room, that's their first interaction. Well, no, they've already interacted with possibly a paraprofessional, food service, another person greeting. Before they even walk into that classroom, that bus driver can tell a lot with a kid, can really set the tone for the day for that kid. Even if they had a rough time before they left home, that person can make a difference. And I think that's where that's the biggest message we want to send with this, is we're one group and we're pushing for one mission, and that's to help the kids at Riverdale. So this rebranding approach is just a rethought process of where we want to go. And we stuck with a mission statement of connect, empower, and grow. So we want to kind of make those connections with the kids, and then we want to empower them with the ability to learn and grow then as a person, and develop into, people that we can be proud of to go out into our community, into the area, villages and municipalities, or go out into the rest of the country and make be proud of what they accomplish in life.
Or come back as a teacher too.
We're always pushing that, and I tell you, we get some of our new staff this year. Your staff, we have a couple people coming back that are former graduates again, and we're just excited about that because boy, they can come back and they can make such a difference in our district.
I think it's important to have that, and important to bring in new ideas as well. You've got a good combination of both at Riverdale, don't you?
Yeah, we sure do. I think the admin team speaks for themselves when we have. we brought Stacy and Sarah in this past year, Sarah Gruen, and they hadn't been in our district. They hadn't been part of this district. They were at, strong districts in Hillsborough and Royal that got great reputations for, building strong kids and good school districts. So that brought in an outside perspective that we really hadn't had in a long time and before. So it was nice to get those ideas. Hey, what did these districts do? And that was nice to have. And just an outside perspective. And then Sarah and I we kind of gave the internal perspective. So as a team, it was nice to get kind of a mixture of both. And so we were able to kind of change some things that we were looking and kind of our vision that we wanted for the future. It's a nice blend that we have within our district.
A year ago, we were kind of worrying about referendums and things like that. I mean, all the focus now can kind of go to where it really needs to be, right?
Yeah, it sure can. I think the community showed that support. Very appreciative of that. Mentioned that a lot, that we've got a supportive community, and it's a tough time. It's a tough time for everybody budget-wise, and no matter what you're doing in the role of life. But, our community showed their support of us. We didn't get through the first time. The second time we did, so we're very appreciative of that. And, yeah, the focus this summer was more on preparation for the school year than anything. The other thing is the four of us now have had a year with each other, and that's the biggest thing. It was it's a kind of a whirlwind when you're going into this situation. We're trying to run a referendum. We're also getting an entire admin team together, but we've made it through, and I think we've learned a lot from each other here. And I think we're excited just to kind of kick off a school year where the whole focus during the summer was just about moving the district forward. And the strategic planning process has helped us with that. A lot of goal setting that we have in place. We each have responsibilities and things that we need to check off throughout the year, and kind of build on that over the next 4 years of this plan.
The four of you were here a year ago. You're back this year, so that's a good sign.
It's a great sign. I tell you, we can build camaraderie, and I think it helps. And we were fortunate to get the three people that we did hired in these positions, and I think it was a trust. It took a little bit to build that trust and to get to know people. That's the other thing when you bring people in from the outside. They don't quite know those people yet, but just an outstanding retention rate that we had. And I think that speaks for, the people that we have leading this right here with these three individuals, is we're bringing back over 90% of our staff. And I think, out of the 11 people not coming back, 7 were retirees. So it just shows right there that we have a strong staff that enjoys what they do and feels confident in the people that are leading them and are willing to come back and work for a great district.
I know that you're all about team because of your sports background and everything, but that, it takes a team. You talked about a bus driver, being the first one to see a student, and it really takes the whole team to raise a student, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. And if we can continue to push that, I think we're making strides in that area, and we just want everybody on the same page, and understanding that within that team, you're always going to have the disagreements in that, but sometimes those things come, if we do it in the right way, they come with a lot of positives from that stuff and a lot of input, and we're pretty open to listening to our staff and really working together as a group because really when the school year gets going, we're there, but they're in those classrooms. The staff they're interacting with those kids every day. They're the experts in their content area, and so we got to rely on them too in a way. But that's what a team does, is they work together in a way that produces results for the best of the kids, best of the families within our district.
Sarah Pleckelman is here as well. Sarah, you're probably smelling the new clean, disinfectants in the hall and paint and all that stuff, right, as you get back to school?
Yeah, good morning, Phil. Actually, not a lot of painting projects at the elementary school, but disinfectant for sure. A little adhesive as we kind of had some paneling kind of starting to peel a little bit. But, like Jeff mentioned, Tim Redmond and his team is phenomenal. They do get in and get things cleaned. We do have 2 sessions of summer school school that we run every year. The first is 3 weeks in June. And so they're usually at the junior high school building cleaning up there. So as soon as we're done with our first session, they can get in at the elementary school, get those rooms cleaned out. We had one teacher transition from 4th grade to 1st grade for this upcoming year. So they got her classroom moved pretty quickly so she could get in and start getting settled and going through her new material. So that was exciting. And then our second session of summer school was the end of July and the first week in August. And then, they got in and cleaned those rooms that we had used. So they are ready to go for teachers to come in and start rearranging and decorating. That's probably the most fun at the elementary school, is to see all the cutesy things going up. It's really colorful. It's really bright. And it's going to be welcoming and exciting for the kids when they come in a little less than 2 weeks.
Do you have some dates coming up? Registration. I know we wanted to talk about that.
Registration is open. We're online again, fully online for the second year in a row. It went really well last year, and we were all online. So families can just go to the Riverdale website. Under the family tabs, there's one for registration. If they have any problems, any questions with that, they can reach out to either one of the building offices. We do use Skyward, so if they forgot username and passwords, we're always there to help with that as well. And I think we're up to about 250 registered so far, and we usually expect around 350, I think, at the elementary level. So quite a few families left to go. We have a few coming in, new ones coming in from other communities or from out of state, which is exciting as well. So it's nice to see those numbers growing. But registration is open, and the sooner you can get your students registered, the better, so we can make sure we have them in the right classes, classes ready to go. We do have open house next week, Tuesday, the 26th, and that will be from 4 to 7 p.m. in both buildings, the junior high school, and at the elementary. And at the elementary level, it'll be a chance for students to come in, meet their classroom teachers. They can drop off their school supplies at that point. Students in 4, 5, and 6 kind of have a little bit of a rotation in their schedule, as opposed to kind of the self-contained classroom. So they'll get their schedules that night and can start walking through and seeing where all of their rooms are.
That kind of relieves some of the stress on opening day, doesn't it?
It does. It absolutely does. So at least they know where to go when they come in the morning, and the faces aren't totally new.
And they'll get class schedules and those kind of things?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, good. And then so that's the 26th.
The 26th, next week, Tuesday, from 4 till 7.
And when is the first day of school at Riverdale?
It will be September 2nd, so right after that Labor Day break. And at the elementary level, we'll start all grades 4K through 6th grade. Doors will open at 7:40, and we serve breakfast then until about 7:55, and classes start at 8 a.m. And I checked the menu this morning. Cereal and toast is on for that first breakfast, but stuffed crust pizza for lunch. So we want to make sure we do not miss that first day of school.
Wow. Yeah. Pizza day.
Yeah.
The first day. That's awesome.
I know. Yeah. Good stuff.
Do you get back in the classroom from time to time as well?
I do. It was a little tough, I would say, my first year, because there's just so many things to learn. I tried to get in as much as possible, but sometimes those, mini fires throughout the day kind of pull your attention. But I think a goal of with both Mrs. Green and myself is to make sure we are in the classroom more. So I did get a couple opportunities to sub once in a while, do a little story time or read aloud, or just kind of step in as teachers, to cover when teachers had meetings, like IEPs, for example. But I do love to get into the classrooms. Still my favorite at the elementary is you get 50 hugs every day. So that's really a boost, right? So, yeah, I do enjoy that part, getting in and just observing or participating when I can.
I know that you taught Spanish. Does that still come into play in your job from time to time?
Yeah, of course. We do have some Spanish-speaking families in the district, and so I got the opportunity when I was a teacher, but now even more as an administrator, to be able to translate for some of the parent-teacher conferences, or even some of that contact if we have questions on attendance, or some of those important things that I can communicate with those families in Spanish to make sure that the message is clear, because we do have some good AI tools for translation, but it doesn't fully replace a human being and that personal touch. So I'm glad to be able to serve our families in that way.
Gracias. So yeah.
De nada.
Sarah Gruen is here as well. That's all the Spanish I know, by the way, so thank you. Sarah Gruen, junior high school principal, is here as well. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Phil.
Good to see you again. It was a year ago, and you were a newbie at that time. Did you enjoy that first year?
I loved it. Yeah, I had a great experience. I was nervous coming in as a newbie last year, but I feel like the staff was super welcoming for me. The students were great. So I really, the admin team was awesome as well. So I had a great first experience, and I'm excited for my second year.
Sarah Pleckelman talked about registration. So is it pretty much the same for the high school then?
Yeah, registration did open on August 4th. We're asking that all returning and new students register by August 29th. That's our hope. One thing I will add is that you have to do it from a computer or a laptop. You can't register from your phone. So if you don't have access to those things, you can certainly come into the school anytime that we're open and use our computers or laptops. And if you do, the office staff is great in helping with logins or answering questions as they come up. So again, we're hoping everybody registers by August 29th.
Is it pretty user-friendly then?
Yes, it is pretty simple. I actually just did it for my own daughter. So you just go onto the website. There's an icon that says register. You click on it. It walks you through the process, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You're just clicking and typing in some important information.
At the high school, you have open house as well. Anything special that goes along with that for the high school students?
Yeah, our high school students will come in, are welcome to come in August 26th from 4 to 7 with our junior high kids as well. They can meet their teachers, get their schedules for junior high and high school. That's pretty important to know where they're going first, second, and third hours and so on. They can get into their lockers, and some of them will bring in their decorations to decorate their lockers at that time. And drop off any supplies. Becky will be in the office. She'll help with any registration needs. If you haven't registered yet, you can turn in any fees like sports fees, lunch money, and your registration fee. And Sherry will help with food service questions at that time as well. She's in the office. So if families want to apply for free and reduced meals at that time, she can walk through the process with them at that time. The 2024 and 2025 yearbooks will be in the art room. Mrs. Wilkie has them organized by grade level from last year. It's easy pickup, so if you ordered a yearbook last year, you can pick it up at that time. And Mrs. Troxel, our guidance counselor, will be in her office, and she'll help with any scheduling changes that need to be taken care of at that time. So, yeah, August 26th, great time to come in and take care of some business before the first day of school.
And if someone can't make it, they can make some other arrangements then?
Absolutely. The office is always open from 7:30 till 4 o'clock every day. So anytime then you could come in and take care of all those things at that time.
Are there any rule changes for the upcoming school year, Sarah?
Yeah, so we do have a new rule at the junior high and high school. Our 7 through 12 kids will be allowed to wear hats and hoods and really any headgear throughout the school day. It was a decision that I supported, but more importantly, a decision that our staff supported. We really felt like it did not impede student learning. So if it doesn't impede student learning and it's not harmful, we are open to it and willing to try it out. So I did ask other schools that already allow hats to be worn in the school, and every administrator I talked to said that they don't regret the decision and would never go back to the old rule. So I'm hoping that that is the case at Riverdale as well, and I fully expect it to be a smooth transition.
Obviously, it'll be watched. I mean, if somebody does something they shouldn't, it'll be, that rule might be, or at least for individuals, it might be taken
yes,
away.
If they cause a distraction or are impeding their learning, they'll be asked to remove their hats or hoods. And it could be an assembly, like a Veterans Day program. Of course, they won't be allowed to wear them at that. Maybe it's a lab that it's unsafe for them to wear hats and hoods. So, at times they might be asked to remove them. But I'm hoping for the most part it'll be a smooth transition.
Great. And if anybody has any questions, they can get a hold of you as well.
Absolutely.
Sure. Good. Stacy Szynski is here, Director of Special Education. Good morning, Stacy.
Good morning, Phil.
Good to have you in the studio with us here today.
Yeah.
So what is your role in the upcoming open house then?
I'm around just to kind of meet and greet like everybody else. I'll kind of wander. It's a great time for families to come in and meet their special education case managers, to see those rooms that some of the kids will be working in when they're not in their classrooms. So I just kind of mill about. I have a few parent meetings already scheduled for that time. So it's just another great opportunity to connect with our kids and our families.
You've got those meetings scheduled then?
I have some, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But people could still schedule them if they
Yes,
need
absolutely.
to?
Yep. And I'm typically available in both buildings. I'll kind of bounce back and forth. And if somebody needs to get a hold of me, they can just give a ring and somebody will track me down.
Do you have some new staff helping you out this year?
We have one new staff member. We're super excited to welcome Margaret Emerson to our special ed team. She's going to be our K-2 special education teacher, and she's coming to us with some experience as a classroom teacher, and I think that her experience in the classroom is going to be just perfect for her role in special education.
Great. So you have a year under your belt too?
I do.
And I guess the students learn, and I think sometimes the staff learns too, right?
Very much so. I think we all keep learning all the time.
Were there some things that you can think of last year that maybe come to mind that you learned? And
last year was really just about getting to know the staff for me, coming in new and not knowing anybody in the area, and then also our families, and just kind of getting the lay of the land, learning what my role there looked like, a lot of building connections with people, and I guess really just getting to experience how fantastic our staff and our community and our admin team is. Like, it's wonderful.
That's been in the news a little bit about some funding that's changed a little bit for special education. Can you address that?
I can a little bit. Funding for special education is always pretty complex, and there never seems like there's quite enough. And there has been some increase in state reimbursement. Unfortunately, it's still not going to be enough to really even come close to covering our costs. We just, we want to do the best thing for kids. We want to meet their needs, and sometimes that comes at a pretty high cost for the district.
Mm-hmm. So it is increased, but maybe not enough yet.
Yeah, definitely not enough yet. Okay. Yeah, we still, even with the increase, I think us and the majority of school districts end up taking some funding from our just general ed fund to cover special education costs every year. We just don't get enough reimbursement from state and federal.
Do you co-op with other schools for resources and some of your students? Or?
We pull from CISA. We get some support from CISA, but not as much from other school districts. No, we're really fortunate that we're able to meet most of our needs within the district.
Mm-hmm. And you have lots of, I would say, teachers' aides and things like that help you out, and volunteers?
We do, yeah. We have a handful of paraprofessionals, I think all of which are returning. We don't have any new paras this year. So that is awesome. That is, I would say, an anomaly. Most of the time we have a really, really good support staff and a really, really great teaching staff. And together, and then with general education too, just a awesome team that works really, really hard to meet the needs of all of our students.
So you're looking forward to that first day on the 2nd of September?
I am, yeah. It'll be nice to have all the kids back in the building and all the staff back there, yeah.
It's right around the bend. We'll talk more about Riverdale Schools coming up. The admin team is in with us today for a Wednesday morning show, and we'll be right back. We're back to the morning show studios today on WRCO Radio, and we're talking to the Riverdale administration team. Jeff Campbell is here, Riverdale administrator. I drove by the track this summer, and I looked out there, and there was a dumpster sitting on there. I thought, what's going on?
Yeah, it's kind of an unfortunate situation. It's we had an issue during the track season where we had a bubble or two pop up. The district had resurfaced the track last summer, and the problem was the underneath and I think just the way the weather was and everything, and we had a bubble kind of pop up or two during the season, and we actually had to postpone our conference meet, and basketball ended up posting it. We just pushed ours back, and we took their place in the rotation here in a couple years. But then all of a sudden this summer, we just had an enormous amount of bubbles continue to pop up where we could fix a couple, but then, when you're talking 75 to 100 all over your track everywhere, it was just with the perspiration underneath the ground and everything just causing it. It wasn't strong asphalt that we didn't have any there. It's some of our original asphalt that was put in probably 25 years ago. So we had to make the decision because it's such used. I mean, we had community members come in concerned, injury concerns, because the community uses the track a lot too. And we wanted something for our students right away for the school year, for the track season in the spring. And if you're going to do that, you need to get on it right away. So we had made the decision then to go ahead and tear up the track. We were able to jump in there. Tim Redmond did the communication with a number of companies. We were able to tear up the original surface and then mill down the remaining asphalt that was old from underneath there. And that was quite a process. But even when they brought up the track, there were spots where there was no asphalt anymore. And so you knew that that's where a lot of our issues were coming from. And so we had to go re-asphalt the track, and now it sits for about 14 to 28 days, and then we'll put the soft surface back on before it gets too cold out. So we're hoping the weather holds at least, but they're kind of guaranteeing us that hopefully by the end of September we'll have our track complete, painted, and so it'll be ready to go for our athletes to use in the spring.
Is there any kind of insurance on that? You talked about the resurface and the bubbles.
Not really, because it was coming from underneath. Since we had just resurfaced the track, it was only the surface part that was covered in anything. So since the issues were coming from underneath, it was nothing there. Now we'll have that because we've got it re-asphalted underneath. We've got the new asphalt. It should hold for a good period of time. We knew this project was coming. We thought with just resurfacing, I think the district thought a year or two ago resurfacing was the best option. It was cheaper at that time. We were looking at some financial aspects within our district, and we knew this project was down the line of completely redoing it. We just didn't expect it to come this quick. But in the end, it's about the safety and well-being of your kids, and you want facilities that these kids can use, and they deserve those nice facilities. Plus, the community uses it so much. There's probably 20 plus people a day that are out there walking and using that track, and they can use it right now. It's just not the soft surface that you're used to. It's more of the asphalt, kind of the old tracks back in the day, that everybody had to run on. But the new track will be nice. It'll be a project that's taken care of and should stand us another 20 some years.
Yeah, you're right. Whenever I'm there, I see people from the community walking around. It's at all times of the day and night too,
Yeah.
So.
Yep. It's a very nice facility, and we want to keep it that way.
Fall sports underway as well.
They are, yeah. We had our football team will have week 1 at Ithaca coming up Friday night, and then the JV game the following Monday at home. That'll be our first home event. We had junior high football started practice on Monday. They've got an event the first week of school on a Thursday against River Ridge at River Ridge, and then our high school volleyball team got started practice on Monday, and they'll compete in the Dells next weekend in a 2-day tournament. And then cross country also started practice on Monday, and they'll compete at Iowa Grant next Saturday for their first meet. So we're in full swing now. Starting Friday night, it will be event after event. So Kurt sent the updates. He's got everything ready to roll for the first couple weeks, and things look good.
Awesome.
We're ready to go. Facilities are ready, and the gyms and everything. And it's nice to have the kids back around competing and getting ready for their seasons.
Do you put a wager like Meister Cheese against Oakwood Apples with Brandon Federley at Ithaca?
We really should do that. I tell you, that's not a bad idea, actually. We might have to give him a year over there and then get settled in, Brandon. Then we'll have to look into that
next year.
Next year, there we go.
But I think it's really nice that you keep each other on the schedule too, because that's a non-conference and it's a good rivalry game too.
Yeah,
so.
When they switched this over, I know Kurt reached out to Ithaca and Hillsborough right away as schools that we've competed against a lot, similar size, and it was nice to get them on the schedule, and I think they've got them scheduled for the next couple of years now. So that was nice to do, and it's short travel. It's always a nice game. Both teams travel really well with fans, and should be a good rivalry game that's gone on for a number of years.
Absolutely. New attendance guidelines. Did we touch on that?
Yeah, no, we haven't yet. That's something we made some changes this year that puts us more in the state regs, in line with the state regulations. So what the state regs say is that students can be excused by their parents up to 10 days throughout a school year. At Riverdale, what we had was 10 days a semester. So kids ended up having the opportunity to miss almost 20 days of school. And when you're talking about, that's a large percentage of missed time of just being excused. That's not counting, medical absences obviously are excused with the doctor's note. Those are excused absences. But we're looking at, getting more in the state regs and more in line with all of the other area schools. So it's 10 days a year now, as it's followed in state statutes. So I think this will be important because part of our initiative with our our strategic planning is getting kids more into school, at school more often. We give a lot of opportunities for kids to go and do things during the school year that's school related, that won't count against their attendance. Our FFA is one example. They're going all over the state and participating in a lot of things, and we want to encourage that. The other thing is, though, we want to encourage when you're not doing those things that you're at school. And I think the transition when COVID hit and attendance nationwide took such a fall at that time, that was such a big impact on schools all over. This just isn't a Riverdale issue, attendance wise. It's nationwide. You're reading articles all the time. How do we get kids back to school? That took quite a toll of getting kids back into the educational setting, and building. You miss so much when you're not there, and the staff trying to catch kids up every day. It's a fast-moving educational environment now. We got to get through so much that if you're not there, it starts to set you behind. So we're starting it right away. At the beginning of the year, we'll be stern with it. We need kids at school, and that's the message we're going to give to parents. And it's going to start at a young age. I think once you give kids an avenue to say, you can take today. No, that can't really be an option. This is kind of, leading into the workforce and the work world. When we talk to these business leaders, they said one of the biggest issues they have is get us people that can come to work every day. That's what we want. And so that starts with attendance at school. And, you'll have your 10 excuse days as state statute allows. Work with the principals if there's other excruciating circumstances that do come up. And medical notes will be excused, but you need to be there, and we want to encourage that, because we do have a nice staff and a nice environment for learning, but we need the kids there to make it work.
I think we learned a lot through COVID from that, about the effects it has, socialization and everything else, right?
Yeah, really did, and that's the biggest thing, is that socialization that you get from the school environment and with adults, and kind of preparing them for the workforce and the work world moving forward. But that was a tough time that we had to move through, and it's taken a number of years to really get back. Now we have options that came from that. We offer an online academy for our students now. That came kind of from that COVID time, and a number of students take advantage of that opportunity because that's the best way they can learn, and they're successful on that. But it's proven through studies that the best way to learn is in that face-to-face interaction, and we need you there to be able to do that. So we're encouraging our families to jump on board, and encourage your kids to be there every day. It's just, this is what you do. You wake up, you go to school, you learn, and you move forward in the Riverdale School District.
Indeed. Sarah, new staff for the elementary grades?
Yeah, we have a few. Like Jeff had mentioned, we do not have a lot of staff turnover, which is really nice. That consistency is nice. So I did have one switch. Natasha Young, who taught fourth grade last year, is going to be our new first grade teacher, joining that strong team. We added a 4K teacher. So this is a new position, not somebody that I've had to replace. And so that's Brittany Penfield. And she was there for the second session of summer school, working with Mrs. Roan. And we brought our new 4K students in. They came just for 1 week at a time, broke them up into a small group so they could start learning their routines. What do I do when I come into school in the morning? How does breakfast work? How does lunch work? Start to meet some of their classmates, start to meet their teachers. So she's already in, working on her classroom, has worked on meeting the students, meeting the parents as they brought their kids in. So she's ready to go, and we're really excited to be able to have more of a 4K team as opposed to kind of the singleton. So we're excited about that. We are changing the structure of our 4K a little bit. We've always offered the full day, or I guess lately, maybe not always, offered the full day 4K, but it was like half day instruction and then half day enrichment with a paraprofessional. But now with another teacher, it's going to be full day with that teacher, and then breaking up the academics and the play-based learning for students at that grade level. Mrs. Sisinski already mentioned Margaret Emerson is joining us as a K-2 resource teacher. We're going to have Jordan Cradwell, proud Riverdale graduate, who's going to be working with our 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. And then we have a new elementary music teacher, and that's Ella Feuersthaler. She comes to us from the West Bend area, but did her student teaching in Illinois. She's very well traveled and has played with a lot of orchestras and music groups, even worldwide. So we're really excited for her experience and just for her enthusiasm enthusiasm for our elementary kids.
How cool is that?
Yeah, awesome.
Good hire there. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
When you look at the start of school, I know you probably get fired up as it. Do you have? I mean, because I used to get real fearful this time of year, But as a teacher, do you look forward to it? All kinds.
Oh, absolutely. I look forward to it. I'm kind of a school supply nerd, so like when I got to go back to school shopping with my own students and they pick out their new backpack. I didn't get a new backpack or lunchbox this year, but fun pens, of course, and notebooks, and so yes, I still do get excited about all of that stuff.
Do you write on the notebook, like I don't know, Aerosmith rules or Van?
Not quite. Not yet. I have to pick my band for the year, but I will for sure.
Did you guys do a Stuff the Bus this year too?
We did actually. The Muscadet, Avoca, and Blue River Lions clubs held a Stuff the Bus event the August 2nd, which is really awesome. They collected monetary donations and school supply donations and dropped that off. We are a district that have families who are living in poverty, and so it's really nice to have those community groups. I know like Community First Bank is having a school supply drive for us as well right now. And so those things that get dropped off, we have like a supply room, and if teachers kind of run low on supplies for their students, they can come and get them from those rooms. Any families who are struggling to provide those school supplies for their students, they can come and talk to us during open house next week, Tuesday, or they can call the main office, just let us know their student name and what grade level, and we'll pull the supplies that they need for that list.
Literacy Act 20 updates. Do you have anything to say about that?
We do. So Lynn Terrell is our district reading specialist, and she's been working hard last summer and this past summer to get all of our teachers 4K through third grade trained in the science of reading. And so the state legislature is kind of pushing this down to schools. Really, the thought is they want every student literate reading by third grade. And then they put, these different strategies in place. And so the teachers got trained on our new curriculum. The last school year, we had one teacher in each grade level kind of pilot the new curriculum, pilot the new materials with their students. And then they're going to be great resources then, as now all teachers grades 4K through third grade are going to be implementing this new literacy curriculum. It comes with some more assessment and screeners to make sure that, especially at like the 4K, 5K first grade level, we can catch those learning barriers earlier and remediate those so that we don't have students who struggle as much then as we move on to like fourth and fifth grade.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of the first piece in the building block, isn't it?
It is, absolutely it is. Yeah, reading, everything hinges on reading and literacy.
You bet. Let's talk about the first day of school a bit more. Sarah Gruen, are there any updates or changes for that first day at Riverdale?
Yeah, so at the junior high school level, it's a little different. The first day is September 2nd. That's that Tuesday. But that first day for us at the junior high school building is just 7th, 9th, the academy kids, and any new students coming into the district. It's just really an orientation day for them to get to know their school building, their schedules in a little less intimidating environment. So that is on the 2nd. And then the rest of the student body, 7 through 12, will join us on Wednesday, September 4th. That's the first day of school for everybody at the junior high school. September 3rd. Sorry, Wednesday, September 3rd.
So some of those kids get an extra day of summer vacation.
They do, yeah. It's pretty exciting.
The ability to be an older kid there, that's got its advantages. Do you have any new staff, Sarah, that you'd like to talk about?
We have a couple new staff as well at the junior high school. One is an added position. It's Micah Thingvold. Micah will be teaching junior high math and a couple sections of Algebra 1. He's also a Riverdale graduate, and so coming back to his roots. Super excited to have him on board. And then our second new teacher is Shay Klicko, and she's going to be teaching junior high social studies, geography, and a section of AP Psych. This is her very first year of teaching, so again, we're super excited to have her. We really feel like we've hit the jackpot with both of these candidates and got lucky, and are super excited that they've chosen Riverdale.
And indeed, it seems like, as they mentioned, with not a lot of staff turnover, it's like once you're there, you're kind of a member of the family.
Yeah, and I'm pretty proud of that and pretty excited about that. I love my staff. It's one of the things that I've talked to the admin team about. I've talked to the staff about. They are just hardworking go-getters, and I just am really proud to be on their team, actually.
Are there changes in terms of room changes and anything that moved around a lot in the off-season?
Because of the new staff, we did have a few room changes. We're actually bringing our academy kids over to our high school building this year. And so that took a room, and then we had to move Spanish. And obviously the new hire had to go into a room, so we did shift some rooms around, but overall most of them are in the same room as last year, and I think easy to find everybody.
Indeed. And after the first couple of days, it'll be old hat again where everybody is.
Yes, it will.
Sure. Stacy, anything else that you wanted to add in terms of, looking ahead to the school year, maybe philosophies and goals and those kind of things?
Well, our special ed department is just going to keep trucking along. We really focus a lot on providing really high quality, specially designed instruction and thinking about what skills do kids need to not just support them in that school environment, but, we want all of our learners to be college and career ready community members. So students with disabilities are included in that. So really thinking about what they need to build skills to be independent, and fading those supports that we give. Supports are super, super important, but you can't usually take them with you when you leave. So we want to be really conscious that we're getting all of our kids ready for life after they leave us so they can be successful. Something else that we're kind of diving into a little bit more, and I think will just continue to be a huge piece for all of us, special ed and all staff, is really learning about the brain and how the brain processes information and being able to utilize that to maximize our learning. It kind of comes down to that idea that building those connections again is really, really, really important for all of our learners, especially those that maybe have additional challenges. We know that when information comes in, it comes in the brain in a sequential way, and it always has to come in that way. It always comes through the most reactive, kind of that lowest part of our brain first, and it takes a bit to get up to that part where we can really learn. So thinking about that when we are meeting students' needs, making sure that we're providing an environment where they feel safe and they're connected and they're fed, they're clothed, like all of those basic needs, but really also just considering, I think Jeff had mentioned in the beginning, like some of our kids, the first people they see are those bus drivers, and knowing that those connections that we make are so fundamental for everything else that we're going to do throughout that day, and that it only takes moments to create meaningful connections with our students, and that they really need that in order to be successful.
I'm sure you really miss them over the summertime, don't you? And they miss you, too.
I do. I miss all of the kids and the staff. Like Sarah said, we have such amazing staff. And I get to be in both buildings, so the elementary and the junior high school, and it tracks across the board. Just hardworking, really committed to the students. Just a great, great environment to be in.
I'm thinking in the special education department, too, you might see the most growth, the most learning sometimes, from some of your students, don't you?
Yeah, I think we have the opportunity sometimes to celebrate things that might seem really small for some, but are really big for individual students, and getting to take that time and really appreciate that can be important, not just for the students, but for their families, and also for our staff who works really hard day in and day out.
I know you guys get busy during the year. How often does the admin team meet? Do you meet?
We meet weekly.
Weekly?
Yeah, which is great. I think that is a huge part of us building a good, solid team, and I adore these people. I just really appreciate them and the support that they've given, and just the team that we're growing and being able to lead. We're really lucky.
Jeff, you surround yourself with good people, it makes your job pretty easy.
It sure does. I tell you, it's good. And just to piggyback off a little bit with Stacy, her brain development, and the training she's doing and the studying she's doing really brought a different perspective to the way we're looking at things. And I think this is going to be something you're going to hear us talk more about as we roll through the next year and into the future. It's opened our eyes to a lot of avenues that got people thinking a little bit differently about the way they approach things.
Anything else you want to add about buildings and grounds and things like that as you get ready for the year?
I just a lot of thanks to our building and ground staff. They do a phenomenal job every year. Tim leads the way. I mentioned his name a number of times here. Our district office staff, Mindy and Leah, again, just a great job preparing everybody for the school year. And I think our office staffs in both of our buildings, just these people, work behind the scenes to prepare. And then when the school year starts, it's just they're ready. They're ready to go. So they do a lot of prep work that makes the school year go well, and that a lot of people don't see. And they're getting things prepared, so we're not trying to catch up during the school year. Things are ready to roll already.
Good. Well, here's to a good school year.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. I always appreciate this time.
And we'll be looking forward to having you on a monthly basis. And I know you get a chance to bring some staff and some students in from time to time. So.
Yeah, we're excited to get started. Should be a great school year. Looking forward to seeing everybody at open house next Tuesday night, 4 to 7.
And the first day, the 2nd of September.
Yep.
Right around the
That
bend.
works. Yes, it is.
Thanks, everyone, for coming in today.
You bet.
We appreciate it. Members of the admin team at Riverdale, Jeff Campbell, Sarah Gruen, Sarah Pluckelman, and Stacy Szynski on today's morning show.